Welcome back to the Sports Source. Folks, this weekend, actually the one coming, March 15th, this Friday, Topoko Lodge reopened 7 days a week. The winter break is over. Topoko Tavern open as well. They have a tremendous river release function coming up on the 23rd next weekend. If you've never been up there for the river release, man, it is something to see. It is really impressive there on the Chiowa River. Topoko Lodge, if you haven't been up there, check out topoko.com. Get up there, see it for yourself. A tremendous resort in the beautiful Smoky Mountains, Topoko Lodge. All right. Everyone is aware of the LSU situation. If they're forced to vacate the title at some point, and the way it looks right now, my guess is they probably will, that isn't going to help Tennessee or Kentucky, who finished right behind them in the standings. Let's take a look. Here's 1987-88. This is from the SEC's actual media guide. The last time an SEC champion had to vacate the season, it just says vacated. You don't hand a banner to Tennessee or Kentucky. So it's just a bad break for Tennessee. You had a chance to win the league, and you lost at LSU down there, and then you lost at Auburn yesterday. You had a chance. Anyway, before the season, we said 15-3 was more than likely that's what an SEC champion on average has finished. And we said, would you take that? And we all said yes. Well, Tennessee went 15-3. Went 15-3. That's pretty doggone good. And let's see if we can get back to us. Sorry about that. Talking to my director. 15-3, pretty darn good. And then you go back about 6 months, let's say, 5 months maybe. November 4th, I had these two on the show, and we were looking at what was then Tennessee's, and now we can go to the video. Looked at Tennessee's, and then there's a jump cut in the industry is what we call that. Here was the graphic we put up there. Tennessee was projected to be number 6 in the AP polls. They're preseason number 6, and we said, gosh, over the last 5 years, the number 6 team in the country wound up going 26-4 on average. That's tough to hit. Mark, you and I said that's a pretty high expectation. Isaiah said they can do it. Well, they did it. They actually went 26-4, 27-4 if you count the Lenore-Ryan victory. They were projected to finish second in the SEC. They finished second in the SEC. They were projected to finish behind Kentucky, but they tied Kentucky. So my question for you guys, how do you think of this team right now? Now, there's still the tournament to be played, but I saw some people that were disappointed yesterday. Obviously, you want the league. But I saw some people saying this team doesn't have the desire anymore, doesn't have the heart anymore, they don't have the talent, they're not as good as we thought. You're 26-4. You're exactly where you had huge expectations this year, and you hit every one. Grant Williams was supposed to be Player of the Year. Probably going to be Player of the Year in the SEC, maybe in the nation, with the Wooden Award nomination this week. How do you think of this team at this point?
Outstanding. I thought they were outstanding. They got to the #1 ranking in the country and held it for 4 weeks. They won 25 games. It's only at least 25. It's the first time ever Tennessee's had at least 25 wins in consecutive years. They didn't lose a game at home, right? Went undefeated at home. They've got a winning streak at home that's about 25 right now. They won 18 or 19 games in a row. I think that's an outstanding regular season. Even though you probably didn't want to lose to Bruce Pearl and Auburn at the end, I thought it was outstanding.
One of the best regular seasons in school history. It's as simple as that. The thing that people are losing sight of, essentially what Tennessee did down the stretch, imagine you had a football schedule that had Florida, Alabama, and Georgia in the second half of the season. You would think Tennessee didn't finish the season well because it ended the season with a tougher stretch. That's essentially what happened to this basketball team. They played their toughest games in SEC play at the end, and it changes the perception. You got to remember, they lost 4 games all year. They were all away from their home court, and they were all the teams that are going to be in the NCAA tournament. And that's a good season.
And they were all overtime or within, 4 points? Mm-hmm. With the exception of Kentucky, the one blowout. Thoughts on this year's team? They lived up to it, as you thought they would, and they did.
Yeah, and I'm always going to say they're going to.
I know you are.
I wouldn't take too much credit for that. But, it was an outstanding year, man. Those guys played hard. They made it look so easy in the beginning of the SEC season with the teams we were playing. So it kind of got everybody's expectations up a little higher. We looked a lot more dominant then. But then even when we played the better teams, besides the Kentucky game at Rupp, they really held their own. So awesome year.
Mark, it's a little frustrating for me because we said it before the SEC season started. As you're going through it, we kept saying, enjoy this, don't take this for granted because the tougher part of the season schedule is coming, and yet you still get there and they lose, and people's like, nah, I didn't hear you say any of that. Yeah. I'm still mad.
Well, I think all the things that these guys mentioned, what makes it a great year, but the other thing too, of looking forward as a program, the foundation is built, Jordan Bone is a special player. He's probably going to be coming back next year. Grant Williams, if he comes back. Bowden comes back. The recruiting that's going on in Barnes' program now. And so not only is it a great season on the floor, but everything that this team and this program touches off the floor, it needs to be commended as well. And so, a fabulous season.
And for the record, to answer what I asked at the end of last segment, it wasn't Kentucky that won the 2013 SEC tournament. It was Ole Miss. And I've got $1 for anybody out there that's not an Ole Miss fan that remembers that. All right, when we come back, Holly Warlick, what's it going to take to save her job? Is her job in danger? I think most of us think it is, but that's up to Philip Fulmer. What's he thinking? Come on back on the Sports Source.